Hello everyone, welcome back. This is your reading, well it's the political reading, and tarot and astrology, for Tuesday, tax day, April 15th. I don't think anybody's ever happy about paying taxes, but especially this April 15th. Oh, goodness. Will anybody even be in the IRS to receive the tax return? Oh, goodness. Okay. What's going to be happening? Right there. Whoa. We had this card already, but now it's moved up to the morning time. Return on investment. People are apathetic and don't care in government. People won't invest in a government in new creative ways unless there's a return on their investment, and especially for their children and their loved ones. And, there's so much pink and blue in this card that relates to love. And then the creativity that comes through love, whether it's, creating a baby or a project, creative project. That's where we all want our creativity honored. We all want our family safe. We want the family unit itself honored. We want women honored, because who creates the family, right? I mean, yeah, it takes two, but without the feminine, there's no reception. Without reception, you ain't got nothing, right? And these knuckin' futz idiots that don't care about that will not have any return on their investment. So that's where they're heading. We're heading in a different direction. And I hope they wake up in time. Okay, here's the astrology. It's even more intense than the last 2 days, where the moon is still in Scorpio, but it's at that last decan where things are really blooming. Things are out. We can see all that deep work that's been going on. And look at all of this. I mean, it trines this entire Pisces pileup over here. So the mood of the people is very intense. Hopefully we're using it in a really positive way, which is transformation, which is, like transmuting the energy in a way that refines things so that it enhances life. But we don't mind being in conflict when the moon's in Scorpio. We just want to, we're going to dig our heels in and try to get what we need. Because, And then people are also thinking about, am I going to have any inheritance left over to leave for my kids? Can I make back that money? I had one lady in my live stream the other day who said she lost $19,000 out of her retirement. That's just, how long would it take to get that back? So people are pissed. And, the polarity of Scorpio and Taurus is right here. It's getting tighter every hour that goes by. So all morning is really intense. And this, the polarity of Taurus and Scorpio is all about finance and money, because Taurus is our personal money, Scorpio is the money and resources we share with other people, and right there. So hopefully there's a breakthrough. I hope. But with the moon pointing heavily towards Saturn, every hour that goes by, it's getting tighter and tighter into orb. So there's a lot of energy coming from the people to government, and what about our money, and what about our future with the North Node, money with Venus, solidity, and the thing that you can depend on with Saturn, but it is also ruling the government, and then the future with the North Node, and we're all talking about it, and Mercury's at 29 degrees, and that's that anaretic degree that is so intense. So people are really talking about being victimized. So there's that. And when is, let's see, does Mercury, hold on, I thought I wrote that down somewhere over here in my notes. I know Mercury goes into, okay, well, Saturn will conjunct the North Node exactly on the 19th. But when does Mercury go into Aries? I know for sure it'll be tomorrow because it's right there. But let me go back and get the hour. Maybe, let me get it from this little book. It'll be faster than hopping through that way. Let's see. Oh, that's right. It's 11:25 p.m. tonight, Pacific time. But here's my notes right here. 9:11 p.m. No, I'm sorry. It's the 16th. Yeah, that's right. Because this is the 15th. It's the next day. That's right. But here's Mercury entering Aries at 11:25 on the 15th, and then 2:25 a.m. Eastern time. So there's that. And then Mercury conjuncts Neptune at 9:11 p.m. tomorrow night. I have to remember to write that down for later. But yeah. So, okay. So things are at that fever pitch of, I don't want to be victimized. Take that, Trump. Take that, Musk, and then all your little boys with the little balls, whatever, and get the hell out of government, basically, is what people are going to really be saying when Mercury moves into Aries and picks up all, because Neptune rules the masses. So when Mercury and Neptune are in, when Mercury's at that 0 degrees Aries, there's a whole new release of fiery energy, just tons of fire. So this can be like fire-breathing dragons coming out of the mouths of unconscious people or the masses who are really pissed off. And yeah, there's that. And then don't forget, let me do this for a second. Don't forget this aspect here, this disruption, this disruptive aspect to the people in power who don't care, who think they're better than us and they get to have all the money because they think they're smarter than us because they think they figured it out. They think they figured out a plan. And this Jupiter in Gemini is going to teach them something because their plans are not going to work. This is Project 2025 that is not going to work. And we have this aspect really tight in orb here until the 23rd. So there's that. And on that same day, we have the Sun squaring Pluto. So things are really heating up between now and the 23rd. And then you can see also Ceres up here at 19 degrees. Now remember, Ceres is our planet. She's a dwarf planet, just like Pluto and Eris. But she's about protecting humanity. And how do you protect humanity without protecting their experience on Earth? So no matter what sign she's in, it's in Pisces now, but no matter what she's transiting through, it's always about Earth because Ceres rules food and farming and animals and the reproductive, systems of the female, whether it's an animal or a person. So So in Pisces, we're all wanting everybody, well, people who are enlightened want everybody to have whatever they need and to be taken care of. And we're loyal to those principles. With the square to Jupiter, more and more people are going to be learning how not everybody feels that way. And it's heartbreaking on one level, which is why Ceres is related to grief and separation. When it's squaring Jupiter, there's a teaching about who's doing what and who's victimizing who. And there's karma. There will be karma accrued. So the moon in conjunct, you can see how the exact, well, and as every hour that goes by, this same inconjunct will hit up. Right now it's Chiron, then it'll be Aries, and then it'll be the sun. So this whole day is about making adjustments because something feels off when it comes to our independence, when it comes to the feminine having equality, and then, the spotlight of, again, who's doing what, and we're digging our heels down, we're digging our heels down and in, and we're not moving, and we're not going to give up the fight because it's intrinsic to who we are to friggin' survive. That's what the Aries energy is all about. And again, Mercury and Neptune being in Aries is going to just fire more and more people up. It's like the brains, if we were kind of muddling through some kind of fog with all this Pisces energy, even though it's very creative and it's very good for meditation, but it's really hard to be in your bliss and be in your creativity when you're worried about other people not having their needs met, and when you're worried about children, and when you're worried about people being ripped from their families and people afraid to send their kids to school because they might, be picked up themselves while they're dropping their kids off. It's just not the way to live. Nobody wants to live like that. But, this is the dictatorship that Project 2025 wanted to install. And this is what Putin wants. Putin wants separation. He wants chaos in the United States. That's been his life mission because he's that sick. And until more and more people wake up to understand that Trump is completely going by Putin's playbook and he is his puppet, then, things will continue to stay, well, but we're not staying stuck anymore because all these planets are moving on. I mean, my God, the last time Neptune was in Aries was in like 1861. It takes 165 years to get around the zodiac, so we've never been here before. We have in other lifetimes, but not here now on planet Earth. So just factor that in as a background. That's the big transpersonal planets like Pluto. I'll go in order as the slowest moving. Aries, so the most powerful planets holding this web of consciousness, or this web of the cosmos that is holding, here we are in the Milky Way, this cosmic web of reality that we're in is held by the most powerful planet here, which is Aries, and then Pluto, and then Neptune, and Uranus. These are the transpersonal planets. So they win in the end. They'll be doing their thing, going slowly, and we will have moved on to the spiritual realm, and they'll still be holding space on Earth for people to come back and come in with their false beliefs, their soul splits, their false beliefs that they projected onto reality, to come back in and heal. And we just, have to keep asking, well, but what's the truth? The truth is love. Love is infinite. Fear is finite. all of these oligarchs that want money, they're not, first of all, they must not believe in reincarnation. Otherwise, they would not be doing what they're doing because, there's karma. Well, things have sped up enough with some of these outer planets that karma is more, well, and that's the case too. When the more evolved you are, the more karma it's like right in your face, because you've earned that right to understand, right? And that's the deal with Uranus and Taurus. More and more people are understanding those basic principles. Taurus is all about principles, the principles that you can put your faith in. And Uranus will always enlighten us. It's the planet of enlightenment. And that's why it's also the change agent, because we get enlightened and then we make changes accordingly. So let's see. We've covered the square, Ceres to Jupiter, Mars trining Mercury. It's also trining all of these other planets. I just if I go back to the other, well, I might as well. Let's do that. Standard. There we go. So now you can see, look at that. There's so many trines and these are all water trines too, right? We've got all this Pisces. Well, over here first, let's go. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Those are our water planets. And now the moon, of course, is an luminary, but we've got that major connection this morning. And for hours, let me go to the hours. Let's see how many hours do we have of that? Okay, so now we have a kite. Hold on. Whoa. Wow. Okay. So right there. So by about 6, it was really just an hour from the beginning. Okay, there are two things here. We have a kite pointing at the south node. So I'm so glad I did this. The facts from the past are where we're headed. And the rudder, the tail of the kite that is holding the whole thing to move in a certain direction, is down here connected to, most of all, Mercury and the north node, which is, the way we're headed. But the way we're headed is to get all of the facts from what happened and who did what in the past. And the public really wants to know the facts. And families really want to know what happened, and I think this brings us together. I think this whole pattern here brings people together in a way that we realize, hey man, we all need food. We all need a home. If we don't have shelter and food, we don't survive. And nobody wants to be homeless. Nobody wants to not have security and safety, especially if you've been working your ass off all your life. And this is just completely unacceptable, what they're doing in the government. So, when all this Aries energy comes in, more and more, it's going to be, more rebellion. But here's the other thing that's going on. See these 3, inconjuncts, and then 2 over here. So these are connected to the moon. So Tuesday morning, tax day, is a big day. Not just for taxes. It's a big day for government. And we've got a yod here. This is a finger of fate. Right? Yod is finger of God, finger of fate. It's pointing to, so there are adjustments that need to be made, and it's coming from the power of the people and the pissed offness, is that a word? Of the people. And it's pointing to survival, the need for survival and existence. And people are daring and really, really pissed. And then, because Mars rules Aries, right? And it connects over here to this really intense degree of Mars in Cancer. And then also it's going back to the past, because all the facts, they're already out there. Everything is documented. There's a thing on the internet called the Wayback Time Machine. And, it's where people who have devoted themselves, if you can, go and donate to that website, because they're tracking, they're grabbing and tracking. It's like making screenshots, creating screenshots of when things happen, because a lot of things will be, they'll just remove it, and the guilty parties will take it down off the internet. Well, when you've got a screenshot with the timestamp and all of that, you can document what really happened, and then it's stored in the Wayback Time Machine. You've got something there. The South Node in the sign of Virgo, and this is going to last, I think it's till like July. Is it July? Or what? I can't remember if it's, I think it's July 2027. Maybe it's January. But anyway, it's not just like the normal 18, 19 months. It's a lot longer. So as the South Node keeps going back in time, all of the facts that happened not only previously but will continue to happen are going to be gathered and stored, and because Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo, so the communications of the past will be stored, and there's that. So okay, so now let's go forward and see when. Now there's when we have, so by 11 a.m. Pacific time, we have that exact opposition from the moon to Uranus, so we can expect some shakeups there. This is like a hold on to your hat day. So we've got confrontations and hopefully breakthroughs. And that's not only coming from the moon to Uranus, but also Mars to Pluto. People are pissed. These guys are not going to get away with this stuff. I think these are big plans for protesting, and there may be some extra new protests coming in already. And I think, isn't it like the whole week of like not buying anything on Amazon and, and anywhere else that's... I always like to go to that Goods Unitas app to see who has donated to the Republican Party the heaviest and who is not. And then there are some companies that just do not do political donations of any type. So that's always a good app to look at. But anyway, let's keep going forward and see, because you can tell that it's the moon over here. It's a Scorpio moon that's causing a lot of these connections here, really intense energy. We're already in 8 p.m. and then the moon moves into Sag. But it's still hitting everything up over here. So we can safely say that the 14th, 15th, and 16th are really intense days. You already had the 14th. Now you just saw the 15th, and the 16th is going to keep on keeping on, because the moon is going to now start hitting up all of these planets over here. And now you can see how Mercury has moved into, now you can start to see the Aries line up. And eventually, like I said, Venus will move over into Aries, so will Ceres, and it'll just be Saturn back here. No, actually, Saturn will be in Aries on, May 25th. So anyway, that's good enough for today. I'm going to get this uploaded, and as always, sending you so much love. Let's just get through all this with lots of love. Okay, bye.